now in the COO role. So congratulations, firstly. It's very exciting. And what are your challenges that you still got to do?
Well, I mean, it's been an interesting journey because that's actually where we started, was tackling the big fundamental challenges. It's quite a long list, but I feel we've done a good base setup now. But what are the challenges?
Well, let me ask you, what do you think are the biggest opportunities actually as a business? Because the opportunity as a company and really to assist businesses, which is really the basis of what InnerSpace is about. I mean, where do you see the biggest opportunity when you go up a little bit and you look at it holistically and you get your head out of the weeds? Because operationally, obviously, something like you deal with such a lot. But opportunity?
Well, I mean, my biggest challenge for me personally is always pulling myself out of the trenches in the day-to-day to sit into that position where you talk about more strategic view. The challenges we're facing is we're coming out of the startup phase and to try to create the systematic process to streamline for us. And that's been the hardest process, is getting rid of the manual sort of old school way of thinking and breaking bad habits. And
is that a people, processes, product, or is it more people, or is it a combination?
It's a combination of both. So it's been a big cultural change, because once you're in that startup phase, everything is quick. It's always firefighting. It's everything is a quick problem solve. Everything's like fire, run there, attach it. And sometimes you just got to take yourself out of that day to day and look at it strategically. So what I did in the first few phases of working with the operational team is troubleshoot fundamental problems so they don't keep occurring. What I felt in the startup and what we were facing was we would put plasters over big wounds and they would work, but they won't work for the long term. So the biggest challenge we're facing now is implementing strategic systems that will help us speed up our flow, which essentially is to say simple things like correctly documenting in and out inspections, which is like a quick win. It's systematic,
and technology. I mean,
well, that's the key fundamental that we're implementing, and that's been the cultural change. That's the big stumbling block we are going to face, is taking us out of the stage 1 into stage 2, and with the introduction of AI, it's coming like tenfold faster and quicker for the team. So it's a cultural change into a technology-based solution thinking, and it's going to be a hard step up, whether that means see certain people having to make massive jumps in their ability and skill, or it means focusing on what we're good at. What we're good at is servicing our customers and speed of lease, but we're not necessarily like, we wanted to be the maintenance person. We wanted to be the cleaning house. We wanted to be everything. And we're not that.
So it's in essence choosing what you're really going to win at in the market.
Yeah, 100%. So focusing on what we add value, like real value to our customers. And like, to be fair, like, where do we add real value? Correcting, sort of fixing things quickly and in the best possible manner. Now, are we maintenance people? No. Can I outsource that and manage my suppliers more effectively? Yes. And strategic partners. So, and that has to be driven by technology. And that's going to be the next big challenge we face.
And obviously scale. I mean, you have a master's degree in logistics. Do you think that helps you in the way that you think in terms of logistics and actually building up its scale?
It's 100%. It's the foundation of what we have to do. And I think it's been interesting because like supply chain management pre-2020 was like, no one actually understood what a word meant. Well, no one actually understood what it meant. And then 2020 hit and supply chains broke down.
Because of COVID.
Because of COVID. So COVID stopped supply chains around the world. And this was the first time a lot of people had heard the word. Now, supply chains are driven by technology, information flows, and product flows. Without systems, that fails, or it's more costly. So how in my background was always how to do things more efficiently, quickly, and at the most optimal cost. Logistics is a cost game.
While obviously making a profit and seeing that your customers are getting a good deal, which is always that balance, right?
God, I mean, that's the one thing when you and I started chatting property, so interesting property is like, we used to deal with margins of cents. And it was like...
And do you think property people don't think that way? I mean, truth be told, the InnerSpace is a balance of a services business and it's a property owning business. And, as we've scaled it, we've had to look at the services side and how do you create efficiencies. So, I mean, looking at both the aspects, because, I mean, you came in from a pure services play into a property world.
No, you're spot on. I felt, because I used to deal with landlords in terms of in the logistics business, and it was like these old big gorillas. Like
Yes.
I spoke to them like.
I mean, they look like old big gorillas. You're right.
They do look like old big
Yes.
gorillas, and it was such an experience for me, because I would deal with my landlord. I dealt with him when he moved in. I asked him why he painted the building yellow. He said to me, it is what it is, take it or leave it. And that was it.
He likes yellow.
He liked yellow. I think it was the cheapest paint at the time. I don't know. The roof was like coming in. And
well, as long as it was grey. But and the inner space difference, I mean, do you feel it's different?
Well, I mean, we talk to our clients like almost every day. The interactions and the support, we like, it's still new to me to understand that why are we so involved with our customers' operations. And like wherever I've been in prior to Innerspace I was like, I don't even know. I never even met my landlord. I met the guy that worked for him once or twice. And every day I speak to a different customer.
And is that an advantage to business? I mean, does it get in the way that, I mean, our view, it's not, we don't believe in that sort of concept of landlordism, but simply meaning actually we believe in space as a service. But I mean, do you think that it's beneficial to customers? Or we get in their way, we can help them?
I think there's a good mix of it, and finding that balance is critical, because there's obviously a point where, we're not running your business for you. We need to provide the platform and the environment or the ecosystem where you can thrive. And by doing so, we create the longevity of the customer, the growth of the customer, and so on. However, a traditional landlord doesn't facilitate that. I collect my rent at the end of the month, and that it is what it is. Because we have that overlay of services, it does complicate our relationship with the clients in a positive way, because we are designing and coming up with ways to benefit their business. And that for me is like, it's what excites me, because I'm thinking like, we talk about how do we design it, because getting in and out for the clients. How do we put in courier cages to allow them to accommodate drops and collections in a safe, secure environment? And those challenges we're trying to tackle and implement processes and systems around. And that's been a very exciting part of what we deal with, and on the strategic level. That to me is the next stage of Innerspace 2.0, is the systems and tech that drive that process. Traditional landlords is like, how do I minimize what I'm going to spend on your roller door repairs when it's buggered?